Just a couple of days ago, as we probably all know, we got our very first look at what we can expect out of the next generations of consoles. Of course, I'm talking about the Xbox Series X, and we did hear some, specs and just some features that we can expect out of it, and it was pretty cool. And if you guys missed any of that, I already made a video just explaining everything we know about the Xbox Series X thus far, which you'll find on screen this right here, and you guys click on that, check that out. But regardless, today I decided to just kind of, with the year out before the consoles actually release, I just want to kind of give you guys exactly what I personally want to see out of the next generation of consoles. Just a couple things, not too many things, because I could go on and on about every single feature I possibly could want out of the Xbox Series X and the PS5, but of course I don't really want to do that. I want to talk about both things that I see as important in the long run, or smaller things that people don't really think of. Of course, I'm not going to be talking about like the obvious things that you expect out of the next generation of console every single year. I mean, I'm not going to say better graphics, because these are a given from year to year. I mean, you don't really have to ask to have better processing power, faster loads and stuff like that, because those are just things we expect. So I'm not going to be talking about those things, or I'm not going to be talking about the really big things in general just because they are mainly a given. Instead, I'm going to be talking about things that I don't think most people are thinking of when they're asking what they want out of the next generations of console, of course, with the Series X and PS5. Now, of course, I'd love to hear what you guys think of right away. Like, what features do you guys want out of these next generations console? I'd love to hear your thoughts down in the comments right away, because the reason I even made this video, I thought of this amazing future that I wanted inside the next generation consoles. The reason I even made this video, like I said, but then I completely forgot it and I can't remember for the life of me. But, hopefully someone down in the comments could, also have that idea of a feature, and I could then pin it and say, that's what I was thinking of, and I finally remember now. But for now, we're just going to go over the things I currently remember of what I really want to see out of these next generations of consoles. But if you guys do go on to enjoy this video, I would appreciate a like and subscribe if you guys aren't. But with that said, let's go ahead and jump into this. So the very first thing that I want to talk about is something that, again, I don't think many people think of when we're talking about these next generations of console, but what I want to see is make VR no longer a gimmick, and to make it to something that is something that's just normal. It's just a way of playing a video game, because currently right now VR is a gimmick. I mean, I don't think many people will argue against that. It's just something that's cool, but it's not really anything to be serious about. All of the serious gaming goes on how we've played video games for the last 10 years. It really hasn't changed. And we've all been expecting VR to be the thing that changes gaming and makes gaming into something entirely different. And I personally still think that is the case. We're going to see VR, maybe not VR in its current states or how it is today, but maybe in the future we're going to see VR take over how mainly people are going to be playing games, and that's what I really think we could do. And I want to start to see that shift happen with this generation's console, because I thought it was going to happen with this current generation's consoles, but it didn't, and that's what I want to see. I just want to see VR taking those next steps into becoming a serious form of gaming, because like I said, it's still a gimmick and it's been out for a while now, and I just want to see VR being taken to that next level. And I know there's people who kind of already given up on VR, but I personally still think VR is going to be the future of gaming. I think that is how we're probably going to be gaming, hopefully sometime soon, maybe at least in the next 10 years. And I just think VR just needs to take that next level and just do something different. I'm not sure exactly what it needs to do, but it needs to be cheaper, first things first, and second thing second, it has to be like actually fun, and there has to be some good games for it instead of just like, gimmicky games. And yeah, so that's what I want to see out of, or at least the first thing I want to see out of it. The next thing I want to see out of these consoles is take the first few steps towards making video games into a streaming service, because as we know, Stadia has currently tried this year to make the console gone. Like, my console's down there if you guys are wondering what I was just about to point out. So they don't want the console, and they just want you to stream all of your games. And personally, I do see this as also the future of gaming. I think most people can agree that this is probably the future of gaming, but we just currently don't have maybe the internet speeds or the infrastructure to handle all of this. And I think that's kind of the problem. But I want to see the very first steps being taken towards this, because we know it's not currently possible with, of course, the example of Stadia, but I do want to see a better steps towards this future, because I think that we can start to see it, and they've already kind of mentioned this, especially Xbox at last E3. I believe they kind of alluded to this a lot. So I do want to see that they take further steps to making this a reality to streaming, because currently, even with the PlayStation 4 right now, you can stream games off your PlayStation 4 to your phone, and I've used that feature and it's absolute dog crap. Like, it's trash. I wouldn't recommend using it. It's just when you're playing, and I have fast internet, I have like a gigabyte internet, and when I'm playing, it's just like, it's just so slow. Everything just reacts so slow to your controls, and it's just the worst experience ever. And I just want to see at least streaming from your own console. You could at least stream to another room in your house on your phone. That's all I want to see with this current generation, for we could at least be taking these next few steps towards the future of gaming, which of course is VR, and of course streaming your video games directly. Because personally, I just can't wait to see till we can remove the paywall of the actual console, because I think that's the biggest wall between people who aren't gaming right now and who want to start gaming, because it's just kind of expensive. I mean, consoles are expensive. I don't know what you really want to say about it, because it's hard to convince somebody to drop $400 on something they've never been into before. But regardless, another thing I want to see, and this is something I don't think anybody's talking about, but I think it is really, really important, because I think that currently right now, video games are moving to a cross-platform situation. Like, you could play with anybody on any console. It's, of course, we've seen this with the two biggest games, with Fortnite and Call of Duty. I'm sure more games will follow suit in the near future, and I do want to see that continue. Obviously, that's kind of something I'm assuming is going to continue, but the reason I bring it up is because the other feature that I want to see inside the next generation of consoles, and this is support and integration of third-party apps, because there are some third-party apps on the PS4 and Xbox One, but really there's not any of that more useful ones, because what I'm really looking forward to, what I really want out of these next generations, is to let us use apps like Discord, and this is the biggest example. Of course, you come up with a million other examples of third-party apps you want on your console, but Discord is a huge one for me, because like I mentioned earlier, cross-platform play is becoming pretty big, and it's probably going to be common in the very near future because of the two biggest games. They're doing it, so everybody else is probably going to be doing it very soon. And the problem with that is that the only way to chat between people on different consoles or PC or whatever it may be is by using in-game chat, which, you know, it's fine and all, but who really likes in-game chat? It's always not as good. And that's why I want to see Discord, mainly Discord out of anything. I want to see Discord being integrated into these games, because it gives you a nice, easy way to communicate back and forth with the people with your friends that are on PC or Xbox and you're on PlayStation or whatever it may be. And that's what I really want to see, just Discord mainly, and then a lot of other apps. Of course, other examples of third-party apps being integrated, maybe like for your Turtle Beach or your, of course, which is way better than Turtle Beach, your Astros could have in-game apps where you could just, you know, fix them inside your actual console instead of having to connect it to a PC to then adjust some settings. It's just kind of dumb, and I just want to see third-party apps being integrated more into these games. I know Xbox is much better than this than PlayStation, but I want to see them both do this. In fact, I actually haven't used Xbox in over a year, so Xbox may actually have some of these features I already talked about, or at least this third-party integration, but regardless, that's a huge thing for me personally. And the next thing I want to talk about, and this is, I know it's a PlayStation exclusive problem because Xbox has already figured this out, but I want to see PlayStation stop being dumb and just make their own custom controller, because currently right now on PlayStation you have to use scuffs, right? This is what you got to use, scuffs with the paddles and all that good stuff. And the reason why is because PlayStation doesn't make their own controller like Xbox does with the Xbox Elite controller, which that remote is amazing. Like, it is amazing. But over here with PlayStation, we have to use Scuff, which I personally despise Scuff because they absolutely screw everything over. And I could make an entire video complaining about my problems with Scuff, and I just hate using it. And I mean, it's my only choice because that's all we have on PlayStation. So I just want to see them make their own version of the Elite controller. And it seems like actually just literally today when I'm making this video, PlayStation is moving forward to this because they have a little attachment that you plug in on the front of the controller up here, and then it gives you just two paddles. But the problem I have with that is, first, it only has two paddles. And I mean, the Elite controller and every controller that is like a major player in custom controllers have four paddles now. So you're you're only giving us 2. I mean, yeah, whatever. And then the other problem is that they released it on the last year of the PlayStation 4's lifespan. I mean, if anybody wanted a paddled controller, they would already have it by the last year of the game's lifespan, so, or the console's lifespan. So, you know, PlayStation frustrates me with that, but I just really, PlayStation, come on, step up your game. Xbox did this years ago. Come on, it's just ridiculous. But another thing that I think is very huge, and I didn't really want to mention such obvious things as this, but I just feel like it's kind of important because this feature just should be a common thing in gaming, I feel, and of course that is backwards compatibility. I think backwards compatibility should be something that just exists. You should be able to play any of your PlayStation 4, PlayStation 3, PlayStation 2, or PlayStation 1 games on the newest generation, which is probably going to be PlayStation 5. And same thing with the Xbox. Now, what we do know is about the Xbox Series X, they have said they are going to be fully backwards compatible. They haven't exactly explained how they're going to do it, but I'm hopefully going to trust in them that they're going to handle this properly. So I hope PlayStation follows suit, and also Xbox lives up to what they said when they said fully backwards compatible. That's just something that I think we just all want. I mean, we just want backwards compatibility. No matter what PlayStation said a couple of years ago, nobody really wants backwards compatibility, but you know, it's just something that it just should be a common thing in gaming, if you ask me, because it's just something that just should exist, you know, but you know, that's not what at least with the last generation of consoles, they thought all too much. So I just want to see a continued support from Xbox on backwards compatibility, and for PlayStation to stop being stupid and join Xbox here. I mean, there's a lot of things Xbox has been doing right lately, which, you know, is a separate video I'll be getting into in the near future. But the final thing I want to leave you guys off of, and this is just a really small one, and this may just be a personal complaint for me, but I'm pretty sure it's not. But one thing I just want to see, and the final thing I want to mention, and it's just a little small thing, just put the cherry on top of this video, is I want to see more USB ports on our consoles, because my gosh, PlayStation, again, this is mainly a PlayStation problem because Xbox has more USB ports, but I still feel like it doesn't have enough because PlayStation has 2, my Xbox has 3, and I think the Xbox One X has more than that. I'm not sure. I don't own it, obviously, and I can't be bothered to look it up, I guess. So, you know, I just feel like these consoles need more USB ports. And with a PlayStation, screw you, PlayStation, for this. Every single time I go and plug up more than 2 things, if I want to use some splitter, you just tell me, oh, I can't handle it, too much power, shutting down USBs. Like, screw you. Thank you for that. Thank you for ruining everything and making it so useless. So I just want to see more power support from you, PlayStation, to actually support more than 2 USBs. And I just want to see more USBs in general, because for a lot of people, at least the serious gamers, they're going to use a headset. They're going to want to use a controller. And you know, what happens if your headset and controller die at the same time? You're kind of screwed a lot of the time. It's like, well, I guess I'm not playing right now. And there's also a lot of other things people connect through USB to, which I personally have to deal with. And maybe that's a personal thing again, but I, again, just don't think that's the case. But regardless, that's about it for this video. Again, I'd love to hear what you guys want to see out of this. Now that you guys heard some examples from me, what exactly do you want to see features-wise? Again, it's fine to mention just the general things that we expect out of the next generation of consoles, but I want to hear unique ideas, unique features that you want to see inside these next generations of consoles, because that's what I'm really looking forward here, or looking for here, if I could speak. But regardless, that's about it for me. If you guys did enjoy the video, I really would appreciate if you guys like, subscribe, bell, share, and all that great stuff. But like I said, I gotta go, and I'll catch you guys in the next stream, video, or whatever it may be, and laters, guys.
More and more adventurous. You would make further and further out gambles as to what you would dream. And finally, you would dream where you are now.